certainly this has been a busy off season. I mean, places on where to start. Maybe we just go ahead and we'll start with some of the incoming transfers back into the league. Brandon Vasquez, morbid humor, his career in Mexico's done. Lasted only a year. He's come back to the United States. He's signed with Austin. I'm struggling to think if there's been another player who's gone to Mexico and come back who was a high dollar value sale to Mexico and then a high dollar value signing back in the US, and especially at this quick of a turnaround. I mean, does anything else stand out to you guys as like a player who leaves and comes back so quickly?
No, I feel like you're hiding someone though. I feel like you're doing a bit or something because I can't think of a single player who's left, gone to Liga MX, and then come back in the last 5, 7, 10 years. I can think of anybody.
I think I got this one. Is it Lucho Acosta?
Yeah, Lucho Acosta has
Mm,
does qualify for that as well, but the difference being that I don't think Lucho Acosta was a high dollar
Yeah, he
value.
left. He went to Atlas on a free, so I
Hmm.
feel like I'm missing this as well.
Well, no, neither of you are missing anything. That was a legitimate question. And, Bryce, it certainly segues in well because, as one player's career, former Cincinnati player's career in Mexico is over. Now, I mean, Cincinnati's been in the news for all the wrong reasons, and we'll get into more of their players later, but we're sticking with the incomings. So obviously, Vasquez, that's a big signing, especially because Austin is going to need to be replacing some players. They have some outgoings as well. Again, Driussi will talk about players on the outs later, but it's a big dollar value signing. What else am I thinking of here? I mean, Bryce, Atlanta's rumored, it's not confirmed, but certainly they're rumored to have some pretty impressive players coming in. Obviously, big name coming out today, Almiron. There's discussions there. I think there's discussions for a striker as well from, I want to say, Middlesbrough.
Yes, you're correct. Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Latte Lat. Yeah, he's another name. We have, of course, Cincinnati with their news before 2025 started. Kevin Denke coming
Hmm.
in with the record that Latte Lat might take here shortly. Other incoming guys in. I mean, we have stuff moving around the league. We have
Yeah.
Chicho Rango moving from Salt Lake to San Jose. San Jose with
Hmm.
now Joseph as well to back him up. And
Jesus Ferreira and Areola to Seattle. Finally confirmed recently.
Before the cash for junk cars deal goes on, though.
yeah, that's something else I want to talk about tonight. Um,
Yeah, that name sucks. The cash for player trades is a terrible name, and I will never not hear it in the tune of the cash for junk cars jingle. It's
How about
marketing did not do a great job there.
how about just cash transfer? It's not
just
No,
hard.
that would be too simple.
internal transfer.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
No, no,
Well,
we can't keep it simple.
where are we starting? Where do we want to start?
Let's do quick hot takes here. Biggest incoming move in your opinion so far in terms of, I guess, player you're most excited to see, and we can even say biggest confirmed move, and then maybe biggest rumored move, like the player who's been linked with MLS that you really want to see here or think would be interesting to see here. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'll take the low hanging fruit of Neymar, which that one came out mere hours ago. That would be an exciting one to see. I think it would be hilarious. The word is, Chicago is in talks as well as other teams. I think it would be hilarious to see him in Chicago. I think he's going to end up in the East, though, right? Like, think about this. MLS desperately makes, you know, desperately makes Neymar versus Messi happen, which means it's either got to be one of the teams that's already slotted to play against Miami in the West, or you play it safe, get him somewhere in the East where he'll play Messi.
I know a
So
club.
that's my tinfoil hat.
I know a club that just sold a winger to a Brazilian giant that has a slot open.
Yeah, and Orlando's a huge Brazilian population and a Brazilian destination. Brazilians love Disney World. Love it.
I think
So
everyone loves Disney.
I wouldn't be surprised to hear Orlando City is one of the clubs keeping an eye on Neymar. I wouldn't be surprised. We obviously have a huge Brazilian background in the club. Our owner used to be Brazilian before he sold, and the front office has Brazilian roots. We obviously have Kaká as a former player, an ambassador for the club now, as well as we've always been after Brazilians, like
Nani
almost
was
every
there
transfer
for.
window. Nani, the Portuguese, but still
Oh,
very similar.
I just
Yeah,
missed.
so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Orlando City in for him as well.
Yeah, I that kind of leads Orlando another option that of rumored. I'll get to the Atlanta ones because I'm watching those. I know the league is watching what two moves are rumored to go there, but with Orlando and other teams with this new cash for player rule, there's a player that was an MVP candidate this past season that has made it clear he does not want to return to his club next year, who is a Brazilian, and that's Evander. And I was listening to Tom Bogert and him and David Goss's Soccer Wise podcast today, and he mentioned well, it was brought up two clubs maybe after Evander. One also selling their 10 recently in Austin, and another being Orlando, a big Brazilian fan base there. And any club that can go after someone who's already proven in MLS, you're not getting a guy saying, "Oh, can he make it in this league?" And if you're going to get him, you're going to spend probably $10+ million to get him. And so I think the Evander move could be the first move in this new cash for players method that the league just approved. That's something I'm watching that's rumored. Evander, Lucho Acosta, two things to watch. I don't know if Acosta is going to happen with MLS. He's less likely than Evander, I think, but he's proven it for two clubs in MLS, not just one. So Atlanta, there's rumors Emmanuel Latte Loth, the striker from Middlesbrough, he is through the at Atlanta academy system. He's currently 26, just turned 26 in the new year. He was kind of loaned throughout the Italian ranks when he was growing up, and then he moved to the Swiss League and scored about a dozen goals 2 seasons ago. Moved to Middlesbrough for about $6 million and scored 16 goals in his first season. This past summer, he was rumored to go to Ipswich, a newly promoted Premier League side, for around $25 million on deadline day. Middlesbrough, they knew that they would be in a promotion race this season. They said, "We have no time to replace. We want to keep him throughout the season." He scored 10 goals in the first half of the year for Middlesbrough, and Atlanta's bidding after him. The advanced analytics look fantastic. It just fits what Garth and Chris Henderson kind of built in Seattle. Yeah, they're not going to go after the big names, but they're going to go after maybe the safe names that can not just be good for a season or two. They kind of want to build things like a dynasty. They want to get those Loideros, those Rui Diaz that stay for a long time. And I think Latte Loth may be that guy. Like, his highlights look impressive. He reminds me a lot of the way Joseph could play off the ball, just really fast, just a really quick, if the ball gets near him in the 18, like one or two touches, like he just has a knack for goal. And then we've been kind of waiting around that. And we knew we had the third spot open. Us Atlanta fans always hesitant with Garth saying we can't get two DPs over the line. And then Tom Bogert drops the Atlanta are in talks to bring back Miguel Almiron, and I was not ready for that in the middle of the day. But it's funny because I feel like I've built myself up in preparation to see him play us twice a year in Charlotte, and how that would hurt seeing him, even 30, 31 years old, wear another team in MLS's jersey. But when it dropped, I got super excited. A great few seasons for Newcastle, been out of the club the past year and a half, but we know he can do it in MLS. So those two seem like they're going to cross the line, and I'm pretty darn excited for it. Yeah, I guess I'm looking at the Evander Lucho, and then I'm looking at if the Atlanta can get these two deals across the line.
Gavin, I would like to reiterate, what one player rumor are you interested in?
I thought it was rumor or
We appreciate you, Bryce. It's been an entire month that I haven't been on the podcast. I got to give you some ribbing here at every single chance because Gavin gets it from me every single time that I talk to him.
And
yes, this is true.
And we haven't recorded in so long, so I feel like I just have so much to talk about. So that's bad.
Wow. No, it's all good. Bryce, you're going to get all the Atlanta content out early. You're not going to have anything else to talk about for Atlanta for the rest of the episode.
I got to get it out now. Get it done with.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to go with one. Does it have to be rumored? I thought it was just any signing.
I was thinking we were going to do both. Like you do one signing you're excited and then one rumor you'd like to see happen.
One rumor I'd like to see. Okay. To be honest, I don't have any rumors.
I thought for sure you were going to say Griezmann.
I haven't.
Who I know you're.
The rumors.
Shame.
I just don't consume the rumor. Is Griezmann rumored? Sure, I'll go with Griezmann if he's rumored.
It's for like summer.
He's always rumored. I feel like he's been rumored for the last 5 years.
And it's always the LAFC as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Sure, Griezmann.
Wow.
I was gonna go with Portland. Actually confirmed a signing today. Joao Ortiz, center defensive mid, and Portland's big problems last year were defensive. And for me, defensive midfield is one of the most important positions in this league. So if this is a player who can come in and really be one of the better central defensive midfielders in the league, then I think that will really help Portland be a better team. Now, we talked about briefly losing their MVP candidate talisman, Evander. He doesn't want to come back to the team. So it's going to be interesting to see where or how they try to replace him in attack because, they were very attacking, but they couldn't defend. Now, this is now a move to shore up the defense, and then they're going to have to turn around and get another big player who can be an impact in the attack. So looking forward to Ortiz in Portland and looking forward to how Portland are going to navigate without Evander if they do end up selling him.
I have to assume they will. I mean, Evander didn't report either.
Yeah, he didn't report for training. Anything can happen. They can talk it out, hash it out, figure out a compromise, and go from there. You never know. But it looks like he's probably going to leave.
Right. Is that a Portland Timbers scarf I see hanging on the wall behind you?
No, that is a University of South Florida scarf behind you. Behind me. Go Bulls.
Well, that's the thing. They don't go to any bowls, Gavin.
No, they don't. They never do.
Yeah.
They did when I was in college, but no, they don't.
Goodness gracious. Well, I guess, Bryce, I'll send it back to you then. What signing that has happened are you excited to see if we're not giving Gavin a chance to talk rumors, since he does not care for things that are matters of speculation. He cares only for the hard-hitting facts that, the MLS Now podcast is known for.
Yeah, I'm trying to play because I feel like we don't have too much in right now. I guess I'll go with another internal move, and it stays with Portland. I'm really intrigued to see Eric Williamson traded to Charlotte because, Charlotte seems like they're bringing back Pep Biel, and they're going to it seems like Wilfred Zaha is coming in on that last DP spot. And those are, like, Biel can play in the middle, but Smith used him kind of as like a right winger playmaker last season for them. So Williamson, who's been injured the past years, he was a vital piece to Portland when they made the MLS Cup run and lost in the finals in 2018. And he was just a great piece in that midfield after Nagby left. And he got injured some, but I think like Charlotte's going to give him an opportunity to be kind of like a free 8 in the midfield and can be a pretty big playmaker for them. So he's in a contract year, moved on a cheap trade. I'm pretty intrigued to see how Williamson looks moving from the west to the east.
So I'm going to... Oh.
Sorry, I think it's a risk for Charlotte personally. And someone's got to take the risk, but Charlotte's taking the risk, I guess, because he's rarely fit, it feels like. He's so in and out. He's had multiple injuries. He's a quality player, but he needs to be like that third or fourth guy almost on your roster. Like, you need 2 solid players ahead of him in the depth chart because I feel like you can't rely on him.
Yeah, it's fair.
Just from a fitness standpoint, you can rely on him from quality, but from fitness, you can't.
So I'm gonna use one specific player name, but I think this is going to extend to multiple players that have gone to this team. Tadeo Allende signing on loan from Celta Vigo for Miami. Um, and hear me out on this, okay? It's not just this one player that I think is what's interesting to me. It's the profile of all these players that Miami has been signing, where they're signing these players who are young, presumably probably looking to be there for like 18 months tops, maybe less. Once Messi's gone, they're saying I'm out of here, right? And then we're also seeing reported rumors that some of these contracts that they're signing players to are also giving like 40, 50% sell ons to the original clubs that they're buying them from. It's a really interesting strategy. Like now you're looking at it and it's like you're giving an incentive to all these, talent hotbed clubs to approach you and say, hey, we have this guy who's ready to get to the next level. He's not going to do it in Europe yet, but we need him to get somewhere that's a little more competitive. Like MLS is growing as a talent base. How would you feel about signing this guy? We'll give him to you really cheap so he fits your salary structure. Give us 40% sell on, 50% sell on. I mean, you can get really talented guys for pretty low amounts against the budget. Like for better or worse, if you set yourself up as a place that's willing to, move players quickly and to work with clubs on sell-ons, it's an interesting strategy.
It is. I think it's more common than people realize to sell for 70%, 65%, and same on the flip side, buy for that amount. Because that's basically it's just a sell on percentage, but very high. I think it happens regularly and it's just randomly reported on sometimes. Like sometimes it's reported on, sometimes not.
This build reminds me so much of the first few years of Atlanta, and I think Miami's at a better spot for some of these signings to work out. But when you're throwing a lot of darts at the board, and if they're not hitting, then instead of having to sell that player for a lot because you're only going to get a certain percentage to make your investment back, you're just going to be taking a hit on a lot of those transfer fees made in the first place. So it's a risk. I think it's a fair risk to take because the Diego Gomez and Miguel Amaro moves are very similar to me. You have that one, then you can sell. Look what we just did for that player. You can be the next guy. So I respect that they're doing it. And I think Miami's at a better spot where they won't fall like Atlanta will because they have Messi, Busquets, Alba, Suarez for at least 1 to 2 more years. So they're not just like only going the young route. They have the veteran pieces and they're backfilling them with them. So I think they're going to be good from a player standpoint. I'm curious to see how Mascherano is as a manager. Maybe he's not going to have to be great for Miami to be good. We talked about that already. But yeah, I mean, Fafa Picault even, great signing for Miami this offseason. I just think they need defense, but getting a player that's, produced in multiple spots in MLS, like there's going to be times in the season where Messi needs rest, Alba needs to rest, and he's going to be able to take that left side of the field over, kind of similar where Gressel stepped in mid-season, Robert Taylor stepped in and made plays when needed, and I think Picault could be someone like that. And when we talk about Miami, it just reminded me Leo Campana now moving to New England. That's another one I can't wait to track too.
It's a good shout. I'm not going to lie, I actually forgot that Campana moved because initially Miami was so adamant Campana's not for sale. He's not going anywhere. And well, anyways, here we are. He's in New England, which is, I think, very funny. That's like the exodus of players from New England to San Jose under Bruce Arena, and now it's like now New England is bringing in new interesting faces.
New England's had a massive transfer window already, actually.
Massive transfer window out.
Well, and in. Have you seen? I mean, I did do a video on it on the YouTube, but they've got in two center backs from outside of the league. They got Will Sands and Andrew Farrell from inside of the league. They got Jackson Uil, Leo Campana, Alex Bono, Tanner Beeson, Luis Diaz. They brought Noel Buck back on loan. And then they've got a few other. They got a forward, Ignatius Ganago from France. They got Omsberg as a free agent, former Chicago player. Then Alan Oyorwath. I'm not sure who that is. And so they've just had like an insane offseason of just signing loads of players. because they needed to. Obviously, we all know they needed a refresh. They're doing the do it all in one transfer window strategy. It looks like, because this is an insane amount of work only midway through January.
Gavin, reading those off, quick plug. Are you using the MLS offseason guide on the MLS Now podcast to look at everyone coming in from New England?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
Because that is freshly updated. And New England, the longest one out of all of them. And it's funny because they are not through any front office or managerial change. So it's, year one of Caleb Porter. They said, we got to get all these Bruce Arena vibes out the door. And that's what they did. And they're basically just like hockey subbing the whole roster, which is hilarious.
Now, Russell, you're not wrong. They have had a mass exodus as well. I'm not going to list them all off. It's been a complete roster switch in New England. So they're definitely a team to look out for in 2025.